You are Locked On Rays, your daily Tampa Bay Rays podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome into Locked On Rays, your daily podcast covering everything Tampa Bay Rays, from game analysis to player interviews. We've got you covered with all the latest news and insights. My name is Kevin Weiss. I paused for a moment.
I'm Ulises Sambrano.
I am Evan Closky, your boy.
And we appreciate Evan joining the show again, bringing you expert analysis and passionate discussions about our beloved Rays.
Whether you're a diehard fan who vividly remembers Longo's game 162 just like us,
or you remember the early Devil Ray days of Wade Boggs or Carl Crawford,
we're here to break down every play, every trade, and every milestone. In fact, this is our 6th season covering the Rays daily.
In every season, they've gone to the playoffs. Highly likely not in 2024, however. But we still want you to grab your favorite Rays gear, settle in, subscribe to our Locked On Rays YouTube channel and other podcast platforms. You can also find us on the X Machine / Instagram at Locked On Rays.
This episode is brought to you by SupplyHouse.com, which is the reliable way to get parts fast. Shop for your next plumbing, h-vac, or electrical job and get fast shipping from coast to coast at SupplyHouse.com. That's kind of like what the Rays needed to do for this week, going to Oakland, going to LA for and then going to Seattle. And they're doing the Supply House thing, coast to coast.
That is true. Ulises is the anti-Evan Closky back with another comment for him?
Should we call it that? The anti-Evan Closky YouTube?
I welcome
it. We got another one. Okay, so let me pull it up here. If you're on YouTube, you can follow along with us. And if you're not, we're going to read it for you. This comment by @RaymanGoulet says, could you imagine if you gave this pitching staff 5 runs a game, how good would they be? Well, I think we know it would be 2021 or 2023. Mr. Sambrano, you always bring up that you can't judge these trades for a while, which I get. But for prospects, it's for years, which I don't really understand or agree. If a Rosarena is producing right now and helping the Mariners win, or Zach Eflin is 4-0 with the O's with an under 3 ERA and contributor to them possibly winning a World Series, do you not count what they did / doing? Aren't those teams getting guaranteed production that's helping to contribute to winning right now? Where, again, only 10% of my minor leaguers make it to the majors. And like you said, wait to see who pans out. So how do you exactly weigh in on that? Because the other teams are getting something that is guaranteed, and the Rays have a pocket full of promising scratch tickets. So how isn't it fair to judge? Hope that makes sense. Thank you, guys. Well, you know what? Thank you, Rayman Goulet, for always being an active participant on the YouTube comments. I hope you know that this is all for fun. Evan, take it away.
Yeah, so first off, I love you, Mr. Rayman Goulet, even though you hate me. So wouldn't it be nice to get 5 runs? Okay, there are only 3 teams in Major League Baseball right now that average north of 5 runs. So you know what? Scoring 5 or more runs a game is pretty hard. Thank you so much. Scoring 5 runs per game is very hard. The average Major League Baseball team scores 4.33 runs per game. The Rays pitching staff only needs 4 runs per game, and their record is phenomenal when they get that. So, yes, I agree. That's, again, the 2022 argument right back. Just get 4. Zach Eflin, by the way, who's on the IL right now with shoulder discomfort. Pitching is not the issue. So, if you had Zach Eflin here, you wouldn't be seeing Jeffrey Springs, right? We need to get Jeffrey Springs pitching again, and we need to knock off the rust. Remember Shane Baz, how rusty he was when he started pitching again? Yeah, he looks pretty darn good right now that he's got a few starts under himself. You can't just Shane McClanahan next year. I hope that he pitches a good chunk in spring training because he needs to get some of that rust off. He's not going to just be Shane McClanahan. And yes, Eric Neander said the day they made those trades, they are a worse team now than what they were before they made the trades. That is obvious. But don't think of things in a short-sighted manner. this was not a playoff team. You can't think that they're a playoff team. Stop thinking that things would have been different with Randy here or Zach here. They were not. Guess what? Those guys were here for half the season, and they weren't good. They were mediocre. They were a 500 team. And what I applaud Eric for is saying, I'm not going to double down on the mistakes that I've made. Obviously, we don't necessarily know what exactly has gone wrong, but there was a miscalculation. It's not working out. We're not winning, and we got to restructure. And to his credit, the last time they went on a little winning streak of making the playoffs, it took a handful of years to get back to the playoffs, and he doesn't want to do that again. This team will be competitive immediately next season. Will they be a Super Bowl? I see I'm doing all the.
Are you ready for football?
Yeah.
You're ready for football. By the way, side note here, who is the ex-NFL player, ex-Buccaneer that will be joining you on Buck Splits?
Well, there is on the Blitz show, it's going to be probably a rotation, but there's nobody. I mean, it's just going to be me and David on our Blitz show. But Thursday, we have an episode where we do the One Buck, which is an interview with a Buccaneers player. And This week it was Cody Malk, so the offensive lineman out of North Dakota State. So there's my little plug for that. But I don't know if they're going to be a World Series contender. Just saying that this team is good, and they have a lot of young prospects to replenish. And if you don't believe in scratch tickets or the 10% of minor leaguers, then go regurgitate to me how the Houston Astros became a dynasty. Go tell me how that happened.
They tanked for 5 years and got a lot of first-round picks.
But guess what? Nobody wants to be a fan of a team rooting for the Chicago White Sox right now. It's great when it works out. Mm-hmm. And the Rays don't want to tank and just say we're irrelevant for 3 to 4 years for scratch tickets that they hope pay off. That's just not a winning formula. This team has won more than they've lost since 2008. One of the most successful teams. The Braves are probably not going to make the playoffs this year. They've been a juggernaut since the 90s. Sometimes it's just not in your cards, and we don't have to act like the world is collapsing because one season it just didn't fall into the right place. I think there are a lot of areas where they hit some bad luck. Mostly like in April and May, their bullpen blew up in all the wrong spots. Some of their best players were bad. And then when they started correcting things, their bullpen got better, but still had really bad moments. And they gave up a historic amount of home runs. And it's just ultimately just things didn't work out. But I'm not saying that it's going to carry into next year. And sometimes you have to have a year like this to go back to the drawing board and say, what are we missing, and improve on next year. And maybe in 2022 with the bats, they did that entering 2023, and we saw that explosion out of the gates. And then
that was nice.
Yeah, and maybe in 2024, just they try to do too much, right? They try to alter too many things or try to do this over that, and I don't know if it worked out. So whatever. Long story short, minor league players, those scratch tickets you talk about, they're pivotal in producing for the Rays, a team that's not going to spend oodles and oodles of dollars. If you want premier talent, it's coming up through the minor league system. It's not coming up through free agency. So, and that's for most teams, by the way. Bobby Witt Jr., great guy, right? Royals drafted him. Jackson Merrill doing great things for San Diego, drafted by Padres. That's the way you develop teams, not in free agency. Everyone wants to spend money. You got to develop. You got to have guys. And I understand that Wander Franco, that situation sucks, but they had their golden goose and it backfired badly.
So, hey, you know what? People want Junior Caminero to be that guy. But Kevin, you were saying?
Yes, I was just saying. So, setback year 2024, will they have enough firepower and Eric Neander have enough creativity to get this team back into the playoffs or get them to a 90-win mark in 2025? When you're taking in America's pastime, don't forget to hydrate with Liquid IV's Popsicle Firecracker flavor, a surefire summer hit. Get hydrated with electrolytes, essential vitamins, and clinically tested nutrients from the #1 powdered hydration brand in America. Because baseball and summer go together like liquid IV and indulgent hydration. No more thirsty summers when you indulge in hydration with Liquid IV. Get 20% off your first order of Liquid IV when you go to liquidiv.com and use code MLB at checkout. So good. I'll repeat it again. That is 20% off your first order when you shop Better Hydration today using promo code MLB at liquidiv.com.
Get supplies from this site that's made for the skilled trades. SupplyHouse.com is the reliable way to order plumbing, HVAC, and electrical products online. Their easy-to-use website is packed with helpful resources and the latest product info to help you get the job done right. Just like when Race Pitching gets it done right, you can do the same thing with Supply House. And in fact, if you join their Trade Master program, you get access to a dedicated phone line, free shipping, and discounts on every order. Join the thousands of trade pros already benefiting from their free membership at supplyhouse.com/TM and order plumbing, HVAC, and electrical supplies from anywhere with just a few clicks at supplyhouse.com.
Or they more?
They need a lot,
things.
though. They need a lot, guys. They need they don't need just like one or two things.
Creativity, 100%. If we know something about the Rays, they're going to try. They're going to tinker. They're going to make trades. We know that. Yes, they're going to be in contention in 2025. Do I think they're going to be 90 wins when we get all those Fangraphs projections? Probably not. But we're going to talk about the rotation. I mean, like,
it should be nasty.
McClanahan, Springs, Boz, Bradley, Pepio,
Rasmussen
maybe he starts out a reliever, and if someone gets hurt, they bump him up.
Littell, maybe.
Littell at 7. So I mean, we're talking that's potentially 7 guys there, and that's not even factoring in maybe as I said, like a Jacob Lopez or a Joe Rock,
Tyler Alexander, Jacob Wagaspack.
Ian Seymour, whatever, and those guys. I mean,
we're going down the list.
I'm not factoring them in, but there are some young guys who might be deserving of an opportunity. So they have a ton of starting pitching depth, but as we learned from the bullpen we've seen in the second half of the year, the top 2 bullpens in baseball since the All-Star break. We're seeing a lot of positive returns there. I think they don't have to overhaul the team as much as one thinks. They do need to fix the catcher position because they are so, again, love Ben Worthett, but you can't, that catcher position, has produced 5, 6, 7 home runs total, and 2 were from Rene Pinto in the same game. Yep. So it just, even when they were doing like Bethencourt, Mejia, Pinto, and they had like that rotation last year, that still provided like
way better.
Yeah, I mean, you're still getting like a bunch of home. So it's just you can't just punt a position of like that for power. Yeah. You can't. And I've beaten this, to dead horse before. Between him and Walls and DeLuca and Siri, you just can't have 4 guys who are
Jackson. Yeah.
Otto. Yeah. Well, that's what.
And then I think that's what the Rays do with up the middle. They're more defensive focus, center field.
I'm cool with that. I really am. It's just there has to be you shouldn't be punting offense. Yeah. Like at some point you're breaking even. Like
yes, exactly. But like right now you're seeing that going glove first ain't working. So all my hope is
I don't know if it's not working because are you surprised they're a game over 500? Because I am.
I mean, they should be way worse. But it's like it's not working if you want to go to the playoffs, which is what Neander and Co. has always said. We want to be competitive. We want to get to the playoffs. Glove first for many positions.
But glove first has –
my God.
I mean, to me, this is a little bit of a transition era. But, like, Randy Arozarena was not glove first. And you were really hoping that he would provide some offense. Didn't really do that for most of the season. Isaac Paredes provided the offense. His glove took a turn for the worse this season. Yandy also he's aging. The fact of the matter is and Caballero, who's been great with the glove, he wasn't as good at shortstop for whatever reason. I don't know if that's I don't know if that's a small sample size or whatever, but it wasn't as good as, I mean, again, it's just, you have to, when we go through these whole debates, like, what's the alternative? Look, Taylor Walls is not going to be a part of this franchise 2026, right? We know Carson Williams.
That hurt that he said 2026 and not 2025.
I'm just saying.
We say the same about Alex Jackson as well, because I feel like we're a National League team pre-DH that has pitchers hitting ninth spot. There are probably pitchers out there in the National League that would or could out-hit Alex Jackson if you compare the numbers.
100%.
Maybe also
We
Taylor
saw
Walls.
them. We saw them growing up. We saw them all the time. Owens, Carlos Zambrano, Randy Johnson, Zach Greinke,
Mike Hampton.
God.
The point is, like, to me, right? Like, to me, like, it's okay to have a guy like Siri who has pop with his offensive deficiency.
Sure.
Right? Like, so at least when he does make contact, it usually goes out of the park, right? So, like, Siri on Tuesday hit the ball,
Wins the game.
and won the game. And we've seen, now look, when Siri's bad, it's bad. I get it. It's and not to mention he's so emotional that we all feel a type of way. But the way that Siri, I mean, there are probably 5 to 6 games that Siri has won for the Rays by himself, right, this season. And that's pretty significant. Like, within the margins, that's the difference potentially between, you know, I mean, for this Rays team, 1 game over 500 or 5, like, pretty much like fighting for a top 5, maybe draft position, top 7. So the thing is with Siri is when he does make contact, it goes a long way. Like, someone like Taylor Walls is just, if he does make contact, it's a single, and he doesn't make impactful contact often. So you're praying for a walk. 15% of the time he's going to get 15% of the time he's going to walk. And then we know that he has like a 170 average. So that means 17% of the time he's going to get a hit. So that means you're 67% of the time, or more than, close to 70% of the time.
2/3 of the time.
This man is out.
Yeah.
So,
That's not sustainable. There's too many of those guys.
Not to mention in the 30%, in all that 30%, 25 to 26 to 27% of that are singles or getting the first base. So it's just, that's the whole Hal Ramirez thing all over again, right? Of why Hal Ramirez and Taylor Walls aren't that different, because Harold gets hits, but he goes to first. He doesn't walk. Taylor Walls walks. He doesn't get hit. Guess what? You equal them out. They're both doing the same thing. So that's where we can get into some of the deeper stuff, but that's there. And I've said this for a while, too much redundancy. And to me, it just seems like a lot of times I would love for the hitters to sometimes just poke it the other way and prove that you can do it and take the single and whatever. And then maybe that opens up pitches that you want and can drive. I think a lot of Rays, to me, from the outside looking in, sometimes it feels like they dumb the hitting game down of we want you to do one thing, wait, your pitch is going to come and you're going to drive it out of the park when it goes right here. Every other pitch, don't worry about it. I want the same swing. If it's outside and you swing at it, take the ground out, whatever it might be. So, to me, I'm a little bit old school on that. I would love to just see hitting. If it's outside, poke it the other way. If it's inside, react and turn on it. I don't know. I mean, I feel like you're a major league hitter. I think they can do it. I just think that they're often, for the most part, just kind of dumbing it down.
I just think that's the job. That's what they're supposed to do. Is it difficult? Nobody should be saying that is easy, because it's not. It's incredibly difficult. It's incredibly difficult. But that's the gig. That's the gig. I don't see, Evan, when he has to do very difficult stuff at his job, to say no. Or actually, didn't David have to cover the tropical storm? And he doesn't normally do that. He did it.
Yeah. I mean, look, in the end, all I'm saying is that the typical fan just doesn't weigh defense as a major factor, and it is. So I'm always willing to, Jose Siri, you don't love him in center field. Who are you replacing out there? Because your replacement, so Jose Siri, if you're watching on YouTube, by the way, you can see my hand, but if you're not, I apologize. Expect it high. Jose Siri's defense is here.
Yeah.
If you're I want to take this guy who's lower, his offense now has to cover this gap between the defense and what Siri is, what he is defensively. So his offense has to now be here to make it seem like this is worth my while to replace Siri for this guy who's now here. Defense plus offense gets me here. It just, and a lot of times people say, I want this guy who hits a bunch. Well, it's like, well, his offense maybe takes him here, but his offense might take him here, but his defense is like this. So you're really getting a player that's over here.
Overall value. This is why Evan Closky is the best. He understands overall value, which I don't think a lot of people on social media do. They just focus on the spectrums. They focus on the ends. What can he do defensively? He's amazing defensively. What can he do with the bat? Oh, okay. Overall value goes down. Well, he's so good with the bat. What can he do with the glove, though? Oh, not that great. Overall value matters. But you know what also matters, people?
Closky on the clock.
Closky on the clock.
Closky on the clock.
Closky on the clock here.
Very good. Yeah, I've got one Closky on the clock question before we get to baseball trivia and Name That War. Pitching related. So focusing a little bit, not so much on offense here. Evan, who will receive the majority of save opportunities with the absence of Pete Fairbanks due to the right lat strain? Assuming, this is a big assumption, that the Rays will have save opportunities on their hands over the next several weeks, but assuming there is a handful or fewer, is it Uceta? Is it Rodriguez? Is it somebody else?
I do believe it's going to be a by committee approach. We've already seen Uceta earn the first save, but for the most part, I think it's going to be where players land in the lineup, right? Like Uceta seems to be a guy that they typically feel comfortable facing the meat of the order. So if they're facing 1 through 4 hitters in the 9th inning, I see Uceta being out there. But what happens if that part of the lineup comes up in the 8th or the 7th? Uceta is going to pitch that inning, which means that, you know, you can see Emrod be a closer. You can see Poche even do it, or, you know, Clevenger if it's a slew of lefties. I could see Drew Rasmussen getting a little dabble in that, maybe doing 2 innings. Ooh. So I think that it's just, there is no true answer. I think that ultimately we just have to see where the chips fall each night. And I just have a tough time believing anyone's going to be like Pete, where he's the 9th guy.
Very good. And in 60 seconds as well. Ulises, time for baseball trivia. Name That War. What do you have in the arena of baseball trivia for us? TonaI is the world's smartest and most effective strength training system that helps get you stronger. Powered by AI, TonaI learns with every rep so it can deliver workouts personalized just for you. TonaI actually learns from your movement and provides suggested weight recommendations for every move with detailed progress reports as well. They even create personalized program and workout suggestions or recommendations based on your individual goals. Unlike traditional gym equipment, TonaI uses adaptive digital weight to advance your training techniques. From professional athletes like Rays players to that mom of 3, TonaI is trusted by thousands who have become their strongest. Right now, TonaI is offering our listeners $200 off your TonaI purchase with promo code LOCKEDONMLB. That's TonaI.com and use promo code LOCKEDONMLB for $200 off your purchase. So good, I'll repeat it a third time. That's TonaI.com, ToNAL.com, promo code LOCKEDONMLB for $200 off.
The Rays will be playing at Dodger Stadium, which I was lucky enough to go last year. Prior to that,
Dodger dog.
It was dude. It was so good.
Was it like $80 for a Dodger dog?
I forget, but I'll look up the receipt
when I have you probably a couple bucks for an unhealthy.
I did get this though. If you're on YouTube, you can see that this is always staring at me while I do the podcast. Look at this.
Are those tattoos, or is there? Those are like arm. No, those are tattoos, aren't they?
Yeah,
tattoos, yeah.
Isn't that cool?
That's amazing.
Yeah, pretty cool bobblehead. Today we're going to have a question about the Dodgers. And this question is ridiculous. I don't even like it, and you guys are not going to like it. I'm looking at the top 10.
What a setup.
Yeah, no. Top 10 home run hitters for this franchise, this historic franchise. And historic because, boy, oh boy, a lot of names in black and white here that we did not see. But there are enough names that I want you to name four Dodger players that are in the top 10 in this home run category.
Are they Brooklyn Dodgers or LA Dodgers? Or unsure?
It's both.
Oh my god.
Same franchise.
Was Kirk Gibson there a while, or is it just like he had a memorable moment?
I'm with you. I would just start making guesses because I feel like we've got very obscure names on our hands.
I'll go Kirk Gibson.
Strike one.
Damn it. See, now in my head, I'm trying to think like old school, and I haven't.
You know these four names, guys. We've seen them play.
We've seen them play.
I'm pretty sure Evan Closky saw at least one of these guys live.
Okay, so
multiple times.
So there are four names that are modern day baseball players.
100%.
And they're all retired.
Some.
I got a few.
I'm thinking like maybe a Matt Kemp. That's not a guess. That is a suggestion.
I don't know if he did it long enough. See, I have
Andre Ethier.
I was thinking like Adrian Gonzalez.
Okay, I like that guess.
Adrian Gonzalez.
That's gonna be strike two.
All right, we got to hunker down.
Yes, he spent so much time in Red Sox and in San Diego.
Like Justin Turner.
Whoa! That's not a guess yet.
No, I'm just saying. I'm like, these are the names I'm pointing out.
So there are guys on the list that spent a lot of time in San Diego and Boston.
No.
I'm saying like Adrian Gonzalez.
Yeah, he spent too much time in those two franchises to be in. I'm gonna give you a hint because I know this is tough here. Number 10 has 177 home runs. Been there a minute. So you can't be throwing guys that were there like 4 or 5 years.
Got it. Okay.
So I'm back to like Matt Kemp and Andre Ethier. I don't think Freeman's been there long enough.
No, Freeman definitely has not been there. And I said I like Justin Turner. I don't know the reason I'm saying this. He said
Sean Green.
He played for a few different teams, didn't he?
Yes. Eric Karros. I would say James Loney, but he definitely didn't do it.
Like Jeff Kent.
Any catchers, maybe? Piazza.
Piazza. I don't think Piazza was there long enough.
Might have been.
All right, whatever. Piazza
is correct. That guy that Closky probably saw in Shea Stadium growing up live. He had 177. Did you ever see him live in Shea Stadium?
Yes.
Of course. Yeah, I thought so.
So he was 10. He was 10. Okay, that makes sense.
BT Dubs, you've already said a couple names.
Oh,
I would go Sean Green then.
All right, go Sean Green.
Bleep. Not that name. Foul tip.
Justin Turner.
Oh my God. Pass ball.
Andre Ethier.
Oh my God. All right, you're out. You're out. The names
Eric Karros.
you got correct were Eric Karros, number 3. But I'm going to give you the whole list first.
This is out of my wheelhouse.
Duke Snyder with 389. Gil Hodges, 361. 3, Eric Karros, 270. Number 4, a catcher, Roy Campanella, 242. Number 5, Ron Stay, 228. I think that's how you pronounce that. Number 6, very famous, but we did not see this guy, Steve Garvey, 211. Number 7, Kevin had this one from like the beginning, and he never pulled the trigger. Matt Kemp, 203. Number 8, Carl Furillo, 192. This one was surprising to me. Number 9, active player, Max Muncy, 186. And Mike Piazza with 177. Tough one. I know, guys. I know. Tough.
Yeah, West Coast isn't my best coast.
No. Certainly isn't. My name that war, I actually guessed him on this Dodgers list.
Ooh, look at us.
his nickname, modern day Hebrew Hammer, Sean Green. What is his career baseball reference for?
Wait, the Hebrew Hammer, isn't that Ryan Braun?
Well, I think it's Hank Greenberg.
It's gone to a couple guys, but
Yeah.
Sean Green, right fielder and first baseman.
That helps. I'm feeling a 26.4 on this guy.
Is that your guess?
It's gonna be my guess. 26.4.
I'm
Okay.
going. I'm going higher. I'm going 35.6.
35.6. Lock it in. Sean Green, by the way, has made history in a lot of different ways. He holds or is tied for the following major league records: most home runs in a game, 4; most extra base hits in a game, 5; most total bases in a game, 19; most runs scored in a game, 6; most home runs in 2 consecutive games, 5; most home runs in 3 consecutive games, 7; and most consecutive home runs, 4, obviously. At the time of his retirement, he was one of only 4 active players with at least 300 dingers, 1,000 runs and RBIs, 400 doubles, a 280 batting average, and 150 stolen bags. The others were Bonds, Griffey Jr., and Gary Sheffield. I've never heard of either of those guys, but I guess they're pretty good. Sean Green, 2-time All-Star, Gold Glover, Silver Slugger, played 15 years in the league from 1993 to 2007 with Toronto, Dodgers, Diamondbacks.
Oh, I cut him
Mets.
short in the amount of years.
Tell me about it.
I had him at 12 years.
2003 hits, 328 homers, 283 batting average, 445 doubles, 1,070 RBIs, 162 stolen bases, 850 career OPS, 120 career OPS plus. Bottle all that up. What do you get? A career WAR of not 26.4, a career WAR of not 35.6, but 34.7.
Okay.
Closky had it pretty close.
We had it pretty close.
That was. I mean,
Are we doing the Price is Right thing where if you go over, you go over?
No, come on.
No. It's
No way.
closest to the marker there. So
Oh, good job. That was great.
No,
That was
we can't
great.
do
And
that.
you know what else is great? When people get to see more of you, Evan Closky, besides on Twitter and X. So where can they do that?
At eClosky WTSP. You can find me on the Twitter /the X, but also 10tampabay.com, 10 Bay Plus, our YouTube page at 10 Tampa Bay. And it's football season, baby. The Buck Split's coming back September 1st. You'll be able to get that on 10 Tampa Bay Plus and the YouTube page. So we'll have plenty of football, Bucks football-centric stories cooking for you as we are. The offseason's done, baby. We got this. Baseball season's still around. Hockey season's going to start. We're motoring.
in the thick of it. All right, Evan's the man. We appreciate it. And be sure to tune into us next week. Have a good afternoon, weekend, all that, everybody. Talk to you Monday.